So again, good afternoon. I'm Interim Fire Chief Chris Heppel, and it's a pleasure to be a part of this entire ceremony today. There are 3 times a year that I truly look forward to. The first is being graduation from the Recruit Academy. The third is when I can congratulate someone on a successful career as they retire from our organization. And the third is to award and promote individuals with the organization. So truly, from the beginning to the end of our organization, it's a pleasure to be a part of those ceremonies consistently and regularly. The other part is ceremonies such as this are a strong part of our tradition that recognizes what we do and what we stand for in the service and the delivery we provide to our community, but also while staying strong to ourselves and recognizing our own well-being and our own accomplishments that we've accomplished. This also gives us an opportunity, as you'll see later on in the ceremony, to recognize many of our partners and our community members who have stepped out of their traditional roles and have made a significant impact on the community or a community member with the program or the saving of a life, et cetera. I'd like to take a moment and also recognize a couple of elected and key members that are here today. If you could just stand real quickly and be recognized. I'll begin with City of Eugene Councilor Pryor. Thanks for being here. Next is City of Eugene Councilor Simple. Next, City of Eugene City Manager Pro Tem, Sarah Mediri. Followed by City of Springfield Pro Tem City Manager, Mary Bridget Smith. There we are, way back up there. Sitting next to her, City of Springfield Assistant City Manager, Neil Ladati. And I think I covered everyone when it comes to that. The opportunity for motion is an ascension through our ranks. We start as firefighters, move on to the engineer rank, then to captain, battalion chief, deputy chief, and then the fire chief position. And each rank comes with another level of responsibility. And as we award, not award, but we promote our folks, comes with a significant level of responsibility or increased level of responsibility that they have chosen to take on. And certainly from myself, I thank you for taking that on. Rising through the ranks and taking on more and more responsibility is not easy. It takes a lot of responsibility, and it starts to put a lot more weight on your shoulders. It also raises the expectation in the bar, and I hold you to those standards as we go forward. To our community members, thank you for being here. We look forward to recognizing those folks in a very timely manner, as well as saying thank you from all of us at Eugene Springfield Fire. With that, we have a tremendous table load of paraphernalia and recognition that we're going to work through. So with that, I'd like to transfer it over to Ray Brown. Amy and Linder. Okay. This is why I have my notes, but I couldn't read my notes, so I'll back off. Thanks.
The other Ray.
The other Ray.
The other Ray. So as Chief Heppel mentioned, so my name is Amy Linder. I'm the acting fire marshal. And we'll be starting with our department promotions. So within the fire marshal's office, we have the ranks of Deputy Fire Marshal 1 and Deputy Fire Marshal 2. So this afternoon, I'd like to bring Deputy Fire Marshal Merrill Harrison forward and recognize his promotion over the last year to the position of Deputy Fire Marshal 2. As Chief mentioned, there's some increasing responsibility that comes with the position. Stand right there in the front, perfect. Of promoting from a Deputy 1 to a Deputy 2. Within the Fire Marshal's office, we're responsible for a wide variety of program areas. Everything from fire investigation, to plan review, to construction inspections, to maintenance business inspections, public education, community risk reduction, consultations, emergency planning. And at the Deputy 2 level, we really look for someone who is ready to go beyond just moving through those individual tasks to taking on the program coordination. Merrill has stepped up and has taken on the coordination of our public education program and has been instrumental in representing our organization on some state life safety teams and instituting a pilot community risk reduction locally within our area. So we appreciate Merrill's hard work and congratulations on your promotion. So Deputy Harrison, please prepare to take your oath of office from Interim Chief Heppel.
I say your name.
I, Merrill Harrison,
do do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform the duties of Deputy Fire Marshal 2,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of Deputy Fire Marshal 2,
that I will strive for the preservation of life,
that I will strive for the preservation of life,
property, and the environment,
property, and the environment,
and act for the good of the community.
and act for the good of the community,
That I will uphold the rules and the regulations of this department,
that I will uphold the rules and regulations of this department,
and that I will and faithfully discharge,
and that I will faithfully and discharge
the duties of my position.
the duties of my position.
Good afternoon. My name is Ray Brown, Deputy Chief of Operations. It is my privilege to be here today with our newly promoted personnel and describe the duties of their specific positions. While not everyone can be here today, we'd like to recognize them even if they are not here. Our newest promoted position is for the EMS Program Coordinator, and Dan Chase moved into that position this year. The EMS Program Coordinator holds the rank of Captain and is a unique position within our organization, providing a rotational assignment to firefighters, engineers, and captains for career development experience. They are responsible for the overall management of the basic life support system to include hiring and the basic academy for the BLS employees. They work closely with battalion chiefs to support the daily basic life support system, the staffing, and the response, to include quality control and improvement within the BLS system. EMS Program Coordinator Dan Chase could not be here today. I would now like to move on to briefly discuss the process all applicants go through to successfully achieve their goal of a department promotion. When firefighters make the decision to advance in their profession, it is another step in a long journey, a journey that started years early when they made the decision to become a firefighter paramedic. This portion of the journey began by applying and being accepted into a development program of either engineer or officer. This kicked off a year-long process involving several classes, practical drills, an incredible amount of self-study, and multiple evaluations in the classroom and on the drill field. Only after they have successfully completed the development program are they allowed to periodically be in an acting engineer or officer position to further develop their skills. And then every 2 years, they get the privilege of taking a comprehensive and very competitive examination to earn a place high enough on the list that their name will be called when a vacancy opens. Not only is their success based on the determination and resilience of the individual, but the crews, fellow firefighters, friends, and family. I want to recognize that this journey entails not only a commitment and sacrifice from the employee, but also from their diverse support systems. The crews and training staff, thank you for supporting your fellow firefighters in these successorship programs. To the families who have made many sacrifices in support of loved ones in this process and the fire service, thank you. Within the past year, Eugene Springfield Fire has promoted Marco Alvarez and Tyler Manley to the rank of engineer. While I don't see Marco, Tyler, if you could please come forward and prepare to receive the oath of office while I discuss the engineer job description. In addition to functioning as firefighter, the fire engineer drives, operates, and maintains the firefighting apparatus and equipment, such as engines, ladder trucks, brush engines, and water tenders. These apparatus require skill to safely transport them and their companies to an emergency scene using the most efficient route of travel. Our engineers must perform in all weather conditions, day or night. The fire engineer is also responsible for operating and understanding fire pumps as well as hydraulic aerial equipment. The fire engineer must maintain and schedule the upkeep of their assigned apparatus and its related safety equipment on a continual basis. The fire engineer possesses a solid working knowledge of the principles of hydraulics, water under pressure, the fixed fire protection systems found in the buildings within our community's response area. Fire engineers work as part of a crew under the supervision of a captain. Please prepare to receive the oath of office from Interim Fire Chief Hubble.
state your name.
I, Tyler Hamel,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of engineer.
the duties of engineer.
I will strive
I will strive
for the preservation of life,
for the preservation of life,
property, and the environment,
property, and the environment,
and act for the good of the community.
and act for the good of the community.
That I will uphold the rules
That I will uphold the rules
and regulations
and regulations
of this department,
of this department,
and that I will,
and that I will,
well and faithfully,
well and faithfully,
discharge the duties of my position.
discharge the duties of my position.
Within the past year, we have promoted Dan Allred, John Riley, and Andrew Goodenough to the rank of captain, some more than once. I would like to ask Captain Allred to please come forward. I believe Captain Riley is in Hawaii and couldn't make it today, and Captain Goodenough is also unavailable. In addition to function as a firefighter, the fire captain is the administrative officer and leader of a fire station which houses one or more fire suppression and emergency medical transport companies. As such, the fire captain oversees fire suppression and prevention activities, rescue and emergency medical intervention, treatment and patient transport, as well as training, public safety education, and other related duties. The fire captain, under the direction of a battalion chief, plans and schedules training and is responsible for the development of the personnel under their command. They provide direction for the maintenance of their assigned apparatus and fire station. The fire captain is also responsible for the assignment of work and for the identification of target hazards within their station's district, as well as developing pre-emergency plans. Most importantly, the fire captain is ultimately responsible for ensuring the readiness and safety of the personnel under their command, as well as the safety of the citizens within our communities. Captain Allred, please prepare to receive the oath of office from Fire Chief Hubble.
I state your name.
I, Daniel Allred,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
perform the duties of captain,
perform the duties of captain,
that I will strive
that I will strive
for the preservation of life,
for the preservation of life,
property, and the environment,
property, and the environment,
and act for the good of the community,
act for the good of the community,
that I will uphold the rules
that I will uphold the rules
and regulations of this department,
and regulations of this department,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge the duties of my position.
and faithfully discharge the duties of my position.
Congratulations, Ben. During the past year, Captain Mike Barnaby was promoted to battalion chief. Unfortunately, Captain Barnaby is unable to be present today, but I want to take this time to explain the important role battalion chiefs fill in Eugene Springfield Fire. The 11 battalion chiefs are assigned to either shift operations, the battalion chief leading the training section, or the battalion chief of logistics and safety. Together, this group of BCs are tasked with providing the leadership and development of and implementation of plans to ensure Eugene Springfield Fire realizes the goals and objectives as set forth by Interim Chief Heppel to meet the needs of both cities, the city of Springfield and the city of Eugene. They are challenged with providing consistent management and leadership to all Eugene Springfield Fire so that the experience of every employee is as similar and reasonably consistent whether they report to Station 16 on A shift, Station 10 on B shift, or work a 40-hour week in a rotational or career development position. Battalion chiefs are primarily responsible for the coordination of activities during an assigned shift. An incumbent in this classification must exercise appropriate judgment and discretion. Responsibilities include, but are not limited to, managing fire suppression operations and emergency scenes, planning department-wide activities, and coordinating personnel for the purposes of community service and fire protection activities. In addition, battalion chiefs are responsible for the personnel within their battalion, employee development and successorship, crew safety, and ensuring quality service to the community. It has been my honor here today to share the success of recently promoted employees. Congratulations to those who've been promoted today, and good luck.
Next, I'd like to award or provide a presentation of the National Fire Academy's Managing Officer Program. If Deputy Chief AAC Fire Marshal Amy Linder, if you could come up front. So the Managing Officer Program was developed a number of years ago and implemented just 3 years ago through the National Fire Academy, which is located in Emmitsburg, Maryland. The reason for this program was to provide mid-level managers an opportunity to expand the horizon when it comes to leadership and management opportunities. And Amy is the first member of our department to successfully complete this program. In the state of Oregon, there's only been a handful of only a handful of individuals who have successfully completed the program, and we have less than 100 across the United States. So this is a very prestigious component. What this demonstrates is that Amy has actively been working on the 4 primary components that are needed for someone in the fire service to actively move up the pyramid or the chain of command with increasing responsibility. Those would be training, experience, self-development, as well as experience, training, self-development, and education. The fact that she's able to receive this award, she's demonstrated at a national level that she has successfully accomplished that to take on the roles and responsibilities that she has today. So with that, Chief Linder, I present you with your graduation certificate from the National Fire Academy. Thanks. Next, we'll move forward with a presentation of department awards and certificates. With that, if I could ask Marcus Lay and Chief Linder to come back up and join me.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Marcus Lay. I'm an Acting Deputy Chief of Strategic Services. And I just want to take a second to recognize all of our on-duty firefighters and police officers out there today. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a good shift. And I also want to thank the senior staff, Chief Linder, Chief Brown, Chief Heppel, and Deputy Chief of Administration Monica Brown, and really explain that they take this very seriously, and it's an interesting thing providing awards to your fire service colleagues, and police officers in the room will understand this also. They're very humbled, even though maybe sometimes the public doesn't realize that. It's hard for them to accept awards because most of the time they feel like they're doing their job. And once they're nominated for an award, they even come under more scrutiny because even though they were awarded from their peers, they go to a panel of their peers, and then they're still decided that they're deserving of the award. And it allows us to take it even more serious that they need to be recognized for what they've done. So I want to thank everybody who also nominated these individuals and paid attention to the extra work that they were doing. I also want to thank Chief Brown for sharing the podium with me today and making me seem like a better speaker than I am. Thank you, Ray. Class 1 commendations are awarded to a member or a work group of the Eugene Springfield Fire whose noteworthy performance provides a laudable contribution toward the furtherance of the organization's stated goals and objectives while working within the scope of their normal duties. Fire Marshal Amy Linder and Deputy Fire Marshal Merrill Harrison on December 29, 2018, Eugene Springfield Fire was responded to a fatal structure fire at Daneland Mobile Home Park. The investigation into the fire revealed improper use of electrical system and overabundance of personal belongings, and highlighted the inability of the fire investigators to determine the status of smoke alarms in the home. The tragic outcome of this fire, combined with the preventable nature of the contributing factors, induced Fire Marshal AIC Amy Linder and Deputy Fire Marshal Merrill Harrison to hold a community meeting for the residents of Daneland Mobile Home Park. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss with the residents, the management, and with staff, the facts of the fire, and how to prevent and reduce the possibility of this situation ever happening again. This work was outside of the scope of their normal duties, and I'd like them to come forward now so they could be recognized. Thank you, Chief Linder and Deputy Fire Marshal Harrison. Thank you. Just stack it over there with the others, Amy. A Class II commendation is awarded to a member or a work group of the Eugene Springfield Fire whose noteworthy performance contributes substantially towards the furtherance of goals and objectives of the organization, while promoting the improved effectiveness and efficiency of the department and working beyond the scope of their normal duties. Today, we are recognizing Nathan Kunasek with a Class II commendation. Nathan has tirelessly, and Nathan, you can come up as I'm talking about this. No, why don't you come on down, Nathan? Nathan has tirelessly dedicated himself to teaching the Stop the Bleed program that deals with an active violent scene. We know that nationwide we have had to train our public institutions about how to respond to an act of deadly violence in our communities. Nathan has been instructing on his own time at different schools all over Lane County. The goal was to teach all teachers on how to render first aid after an active violent scene. Nathan has gone above and beyond his role as a member of Eugene Springfield Fire, committing time and resources to our community and schools. What Nathan is doing is training people in life-saving skills. He has started a nonprofit. What's the name of it, Nathan?
Bleed Safe of Lane County.
Bleed Safe of Lane County, based on these teachings. Nathan, thank you. Is Jonathan Elliott in the crowd today? Wasn't able to see. Is he here? No, I don't see him. So our next award is the Medical Service Award. The Medical Service Award is presented to a member of the Eugene Springfield Fire whose acts and service in the delivery of their patient care stand out as notable in comparison to their peers. This award is intended to recognize excellence, to foster achievement, and to honor the individual EMT who acts and serves in service stands out during the performance of their care. This year's Medical Service Award goes to Jonathan Elliott. I'm going to read you some of the quotes from the nomination. Whether Jonathan is assigned to an engine, tower, or ambulance, I always know that patients are going to receive the best care ESF has to offer. He is always dedicated to preparing probationers for their first test and being successful working independently in the streets. Quote, he has always represented ESF in a professional and competent manner. Quote, if my family was ever having an emergency, I would want Jonathan to be there providing them care. Please join me in congratulating Jonathan Elliott in his service. Next is our Safe Driving Award, and these Safe Driving Awards are presented to engineers, and they span from either a 5-year achievement up to a 25-year achievement, and I have 9 recipients today. So I'm going to call you down, and I'll talk about it as you come down, but after I call your name, please come stand over by the chief. Jeremy Chestnut, Edward Kilgard, Jason Ryan, Dan Allred, Mark Posen, Mike Fuller, Craig Phillips, Scott Price, and Matt Rieger. The Driver Safety Award is forwarded by the appropriate company officers through the chain of command to the Awards Review Board for processing. awarded to a member of the department who has been a fire engineer within Eugene Springfield Fire for at least 5 years and has not been involved in a reportable accident as a driver during this period. To be eligible for this award, the member must have consistently demonstrated excellent attention to the facts of the vehicle, the facets of the vehicle, its operations, including courtesy, safety, maintenance routine, emergency driving, and established apparatus practices. So, raise your hand if you've ever seen a fire engine flying code 3 through the city on its way to an emergency. These are the individuals who are safely navigating the city streets with our neighbors, our families, and all the citizens there to get there to render care, and they do it in a 40,000-pound apparatus or a 73,000-pound apparatus, and they do it with a high level of care and a high level of expertise. Thank you very much for your service. Jeremy Chestnut, is he here today? So I'm going to go down the 5 years first. So Jeremy Chestnut, Edward Kilgard. Okay. Jason Ryan, who could not be here today. He had a elbow worked on yesterday. Dan Allred. Mark Posen for their 10-year. 15-year, Mike Fuller and Craig Phillips. 20 years of safe driving, Scott Price. And 25 years of safe driving. What an amazing achievement, Engineer Matt Rieger. And to present the next award, Fire Marshal Linder.
So at this time, I'd like to present the Golden Strobe Award. This is an award that's presented to the Fire Marshal's Office Employee of the Year. Golden Strobe, what does that mean? So in fire prevention, we have lots of goofy sayings, lots of things we look at. We're the ones walking around, looking at the ceiling, looking at exit lights, sprinkler heads, alarms, all that stuff. We're the ones you don't like to go public places with because we're looking, we're touching. Yep, this works. Oh, does this door open? So one of the hallmarks of fire alarm systems is a horn strobe. It's usually that red box hanging up on the wall. When the fire alarm goes off, blares nice and loud, flashes with a very consistent light. Can't miss it. So that's what we decided to name our award, the Golden Strobe, a sign of consistency, of brightness, and a hallmark of what the Fire Marshal's Office is all about. So this award is a peer-based award. We take nominations throughout the year, and then we select the recipient. So this year's nominee, I don't even know where to start. We have a very multiple nominations, and things that were called out with this individual is that they're committed to the responsibilities of the organization. They seek to develop themselves on a continual basis, always striving to improve for the betterment of our division and for our organization, and ultimately for the safety of our community. They play a big role in creating a positive work environment and enhancing the image of the Fire Marshal's Office, consistently produce work and attitude with a consistent high level, serve as role models for others in our office with a positive attitude toward work responsibilities, are always eager to seek and find resolutions rather than provide excuses. They demonstrate a willingness to work with others and assist whenever needed to accomplish the goals of the Fire Marshal's Office, the goals of our office, the goals of our organization, and the goals of our community. This person has demonstrated tremendous and purposed growth over the last year, and it's my honor to present this year's Golden Strobe Award to Deputy Fire Marshal Sandra Johnston. All right, now's the time in our program where we switch gears a little bit. We've spent some time recognizing members within our own organization, and now we're going to switch and recognize people and citizens, partners outside of Eugene Springfield Fire. So we're going to start off with our partnership awards. I had the privilege of kind of spearheading a project over the last year on wildland fuels reduction. This was a project, there was a lot of community concern around the recent wildfires and the risk of wildfire here in our local community. So the city of Eugene dedicated some funding and with a specific emphasis on fuels reduction, wildland fire, risk reduction, and workforce development. So how do we engage young people in our community to get involved in public service and the different aspects that that brings with it? That was a tall order to accomplish, and we couldn't do it alone. So we reached out to our partners that share similar interests and goals, both in workforce development and in all aspects of wildland fire prevention, fire suppression. We have some overlapping boundary areas, and worked very closely with the Northwest Youth Corps, the Oregon Department of Forestry, and the City of Eugene Parks and Open Spaces. We formed a little wildland urban interface collaborative and sat down and put our heads together about how do we best tackle this instead of us all doing it individually. Let's work together and really see what we can do. We selected a pilot area of South Eugene. Part of it is not only the boots on the ground work, but there was a lot of coordination and community meetings and education and outreach and downright door-to-door, getting to know people. And you want to come do what? In my yard? Cut down trees? So that took a lot of explanation and education about what that looked like. And it wasn't clear cutting. It was, can we limb some things up here? And we knew that that was going to take the right person to gain some of those skills in doing some of that community engagement piece. So through the Northwest Youth Corps, we were able to hire an intern program coordinator. And then the Youth Corps was able to bring on some youth teams to actually get in there with saws and rakes and start actually doing the fuels reduction under the guidance and training of the Oregon Department of Forestry, who was instrumental in helping, yes, this tree should go, let's limb this up here, remove these blackberries, how do we make it all fit together? It really came together as a nice collaborative effort, and we would like to recognize those partners for their work on this project. So at this time, I'd like to bring forward Northwest Youth Corps, the Oregon Department of Forestry, the City of Eugene Parks and Open Space, and Ian Apau, our program coordinator. Representing the Northwest Youth Corps is Jeff Parker. These are both City of Eugene. Odie. Smokey Bear knew he couldn't stand a chance with the Dalmatian, you know. For City of Eugene Parks and Open Space, Evan McDonald and Emily Steele. And Chief, there is a framed certificate there for Ian Apau. Ian served as our neighborhood community meeting, getting everybody on board, did a fantastic job tying this project together and coordinating with the multiple agencies. And so I want to recognize his effort as well. So a big thank you to our partners. Chief Bud?
Thank you, Chief Linder. Thank you, and that was an amazing program. It was very impactful, especially in our South Hills region, and thank you very much. So I see a lot of little kids and family out in the audience, and I just want to recognize the firefighters, some real support systems. I mean, we're up here as the senior staff, and we try and support our staff and allow them to do their job, but it's the families that you have at home that really support you most of the time. And so I'd just like to take a moment to recognize you real quick. We get a thank you very much. And I see the Phillips family up here, and I know they're swimmers, so I have to give a shout out to Emerald Aquatics. Yeah. But so our life-saving awards for our citizen awards are presented to citizens who, by their own actions or initiatives or the direction of a department member, perform an exemplary act that is determined to be directly responsible for saving another's life. As a responder, I've had the opportunity to be involved many times to help somebody in what would be considered their worst day. As a responder, I am given tools and training to cope with this. And even as a responder, when suddenly it's your own family member, those coping abilities don't know what to do. Stephanie Boss, on October 11, 2019, was driving with her 2-day-old infant in the car when she noticed that her baby was turning blue. She called 911 and began CPR on her baby and continued until Eugene Springfield fire crews arrived. This remarkable ability to provide CPR on her own infant clearly contributed to saving her daughter's life. Stephanie, can you come forward? Stephanie, it's a remarkable person that is able to keep a level head in instances like this and do the right thing, even if the right thing is following direction and staying calm. Thank you very much. On July 6, 2019, Aaron Smallwood and Carol Wilson began their day working together at a Starbucks when a familiar customer was attacked and his throat was slashed. He stumbled back into the store, struggling to breathe, unable to speak, and bleeding profusely. Kara and Aaron called 911, gathered towels, and applied direct pressure to the injured neck before the scene was secured. Until the scene was secured by police and medics arrived and took over. Under dangerous and horrifying circumstances, these two compassionate employees were able to act quickly and save the life of their customer. Aaron and Kara, are you here today? Can you come forward? When we're talking about these acts, we're also talking about the act of citizenship, but really just an amazing ability to step forward. And these amazing acts of citizenship is really what makes our life better and our community better to live in. Thank you very much. me see, Scott Sweeney, Dr. Jeffrey Gill, and David Barnes. I think I saw one or two of you, if you want to step forward. Prior to a Duck game on October 11th, I was there too, so I remember this very well. 2019, when a man was waiting in line, went down in the parking lot of Autzen Stadium. These 3 Duck fans took action and provided life-saving compressions and managed his airway until Eugene Springfield fire crews arrived and transported him to the hospital. Interesting story here is that this was all caught on surveillance film, and we watched it from the command booth from atop Autzen Stadium and got to watch in real time. These citizens step in and take quick action and put their knowledge to work. Our crews respond for that transaction to happen between the first responders, citizen first responders, and us, and watch this individual that was in cardiac arrest wake up on scene. After 2 procedures, they were discharged from the hospital 2 days later. Dr. Gill, thank you very much. Mike Janice. After the fatal fire at Daneland Mobile Home Park, which we spoke about earlier, Mr. Janice assisted approximately 20 neighbors to install new smoke alarms, including the home of Phil and B. Cook, who were able to make a timely escape when there was a fire in their home shortly thereafter. Mike has B with him today. Mike, could you come forward? Again, an act of citizenship like this restores faith and makes our community better to live in. Thank you very much, Mike. Next, I would like to go into some law enforcement awards, and from the fire service, speaking for the fire service, I can't tell you how much we count on our law enforcement brothers and sisters that serve alongside us, that keep us safe, we interact with every day. I hold them in the highest regard. Do not tell Chief Brown that. We stole him from EPD a few years ago. Officers Chris Drum, Mike Brelsford, and Troy Nicholson. Are any of you here today? Great, please come forward. Responded to a report of an assault. By the time Eugene Springfield fire crews arrived, the officers had assessed the bleeding of a victim and appropriately applied tourniquets to both arms with severed arteries and veins in each. Without this intervention of these officers, this patient would not have survived. Officers, thank you very much for your service. Sergeant Stotts and Officer Osborne, are either or both of you here today? Great. These officers responded to a report of a stabbing in progress. In addition to their law enforcement duties, these officers, seeing the pool of blood, assessed the scene and provided direct pressure to the stab wounds on the neck of a barely conscious victim. They continued to maintain life-saving pressure until our crews could arrive and assess for injuries and take over. Officers, thank you very much for your service. Thank you. Paul Bishop, are you here today? While in an area known for people sleeping on sidewalks, Paul noticed an individual who appeared out of place. and decided to perform a welfare check. This person appeared lethargic, confused, and was unable to answer simple questions. When Eugene Springfield fire crews arrived, his condition had deteriorated to the point that there was no verbal response and had fallen into a diabetic coma. Had Paul not checked on this man, he would most likely have died as a result of his condition. Paul, thank you very much for your service. Before I turn it over to Chief Heppel, I just again want to, as I thanked Chief Brown for him making me look good, I thank Chief Heppel for making me seem short-winded.
Thanks, Marcus. I think from what you've seen here in the last 50 minutes, we have a tremendous community. We have an amazing group that wants to step up, take on more responsibility, take action and lead the next generation of Eugene Springfield Fire in the streets and even in the administrative side of the house as well. Also, to our law enforcement partners, I just can't say enough. Thank you every day for what you do and stepping up to the plate and keeping us safe as well. And certainly we're there for you in the end as well. To our citizens, thanks for making a difference. You have the choice to not engage, but many of you took the chance, you did engage, and you made a difference. So thank you for engaging and making our community a better and safer place to be. We wouldn't be able to do any of this great work if it wasn't the support of our elected officials and key leaders in Eugene and Springfield. And I thank all of you and those of you who came today. Thank you to come support our organization and our community. Thank you. As with anything else, this wouldn't have happened without the work that goes on in the back. So I'd like to take an opportunity to thank Jeff Nairn and Liz Kelly, who actually helped put this together and made sure things happen. Thank you. With that, I'd like to cordially invite you to come out to the lobby, have a cupcake, maybe some glass of water. But if you could, it's right behind the curtain. It'll magically go up. However, before we do that, don't forget to wash your hands. Okay? So, thank you very much. Have a great day, and thanks for being here.